Hey, what's up, you guys? It's MovieCriticRob here with the movie channel. As promised, here is my first full rundown movie review video featuring this week's release, Justice League. And as promised, there are going to be 3 sections, and you can click on them right now down below. Go to whichever one you want. If you want to go to the family-friendly section, if you want to go to my 5-minute movie review section, or if you want to go to my spoiler review section where I just talk a bunch of spoilers. Now is your chance before we get started. Alright, if you're here, I'm going to assume that you're ready to rock, so here we go. Alrighty, so Justice League. Let's talk a little bit about this movie, but let's talk about it in the sense of should you be taking your kids to see this movie? To be honest, there was, on the violent side, yeah, okay, it was violent. It's a superhero movie, and because of that, it's going to be violence heavy. Not only that, but it's in the DC universe where they tend to make things a little darker than most comic book movies. And I'm talking, again, more on the Marvel side of things. So, yeah, there is going to be a little bit of violence in the movie, so expect that. As far as cussing in the movie, I didn't really hear a lot pronounced. I mean, there's probably 1 or 2 in there, but it was relatively clean as far as I could tell, which is really, really nice to see. I like the new wave of superhero movies like Avengers, and yeah, okay, Avengers has a little bit of cussing and a little bit of bad dialogue, but I like this new wave where they're relatively clean superhero movies for kids and that you can take your family to and not have to worry about, oh boy, what are they going to say? Now, of course, some of them do, but I'm glad to say that Justice League, it's pretty good. Alrighty, so we have arrived at the 5-minute movie review. So, with the help of my trusty clock, here we go. So this movie, Justice League, the background, let's talk about background first and foremost. This movie is directed by Zack Snyder, who directed Batman v Superman as well as Man of Steel, and brings together the Justice League, which we really haven't seen on film. We just see snippets of most of the members in Batman v Superman, along with, we saw Wonder Woman in her own movie, we saw Batman in Batman v Superman, as well as Superman. So this movie brings pretty much all of them together, and it is pretty awesome. I don't know what those people have been talking about on the internet, all those reviewers, because it is nowhere near the train wreck that half of them are saying. It's not like Batman v Superman, and if you know my channel, you know what I thought about Batman v Superman. So this is nowhere near that. This is a lot better. So this story centers around the assembling of the Justice League. And yes, okay, before we get any further, there are going to be a lot of similarities to Avengers. Come on, just enjoy it. It's a comic book movie. So this movie focuses on, once again, the assembling of the Justice League, and it's a very simple plot, which I think works in this movie's favor. A villain wants to get some artifacts to take over the world, and the League have to unite to stop them. Pretty standard fare, and I think, like I said, it works in its favor because it gives the characters a lot of time to shine, which they really all do in this movie. Especially Ben Affleck as Batman, Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman, and Jason Momoa as Aquaman are the 3 that are just on top. And really, there is no weak link, to be honest with you, because Ezra Miller and I believe his name is Ray Fisher, who plays Cyborg. I may have gotten his name wrong, and if I did, I am so sorry. Plays Victor Stone and Cyborg. All of them have really brought their A game in their own ways. Aquaman is really, of the 3, he is I would call him the Hawaiian cowboy of the newcomers, because he's having fun, and he's a guy that doesn't like to be told what to do, to have these responsibilities thrust on his shoulders, but he's kind of an outsider as well. And so he's a really interesting character that I wish they would have delved more into, but hey, that's what future movies are for. Ezra Miller is, again, like I said, a standout, an absolute standout in the movie. He's more the comic relief, which fits his character. So it's not, the humor really wasn't forced. It was funny, genuinely funny. And a lot of characters, even some that you might not expect, crack jokes, but it is in the tone of the scene, and it is what these characters are feeling. All of them really bring their A game, but let's talk about the negatives, and there are some negatives. This movie, you can feel that it has been cut down. However, it's not as dramatic as it was in Batman v Superman. In Batman v Superman, when things were cut down, you really got a sense that, oh boy, it really got cut down. Other than that, I love the design of the army of the villains, and I'm keeping things very, very, very non-spoiler because this is a non-spoiler section. But the villain, I thought, was really bland. I thought that the villain, especially after Wonder Woman, who had a very good villain in Ares, and although he was a little bit more build-up than the actual character, was a really, really good character in and of himself. So in that regard, A+. I mean, as far as the team, but the villain, still needs some work. And that's kind of the main gripe I have with the movie. Other than that, I think everybody really brought their A game. I thought that everybody really did their part, and there are some things you will not expect that will happen in the movie. This movie really does a lot in the sense of trying to open up the world of DC, and it does it in an organic way, not like Batman v Superman did, which is a welcome thing. At the end of the day, I thought this was an excellent movie. Yeah, okay, it has some flaws, and there are things that you notice that some things have been cut out, but it's a fun ride, and I left the theater with a smile on my face. And just so you know, there are 2 after-credit scenes, and they're both spoilers, so let's talk about them in the next section, shall we? Alrighty, so if you've made it this far, I'm going to assume that you want to talk some spoilers. Either you have already seen the movie, or you don't really care to get spoiled. So either way, you're here. So let's go. So this movie, like I said in my 5-minute movie review, really opens up the DC universe, the cinematic DC universe, or whatever they're calling it now. And it shows us a lot. It shows us the Atlanteans, it shows us the Amazons, which we saw in Wonder Woman, but it also shows us the Green Lanterns. No, we don't get to see Hal Jordan or John Stewart or any of the, specific Green Lanterns that we see later on in the team in the comics, and the Justice League team, for those of you unaware of what team I'm talking about. But they're there. They exist. And if you saw the trailers, which they didn't use the line in the movie, which I thought was kind of awkward, Steppenwolf in one of the trailers says, there are no protectors here, no Kryptonians, no lanterns. And so a lot of people, when they heard that line, they speculated that there was going to be a Green Lantern joining the team. Other than that, there was also a campaign leading up to Justice League called Unite the Seven. But that was kind of dropped later on. So maybe what I'm thinking is that they were initially going to go for more members of the Justice League, but because of the Warner Brothers mandate to get it under 2 hours, they decided, okay, that's one of the things we're going to cut. Again, that's speculation on my point, but I do know those things, that the line is there, and they are in the movie, just not how you would expect, and of that mandate sent by Warner Brothers to the filmmakers involved with Justice League. I don't know why. This movie could have really benefited from 20 more minutes, but it is what it is. I really enjoyed it as is, and that doesn't mean that I'm not looking forward to a director's cut should it drop. So there is that. So other than that, I mean, we did get to see the Mother Boxes in their full glory. We did get to see Steppenwolf and the Parademons, which we kind of saw in the Nightmare Vision in Batman v Superman, but we get to see them a lot closer. We see their abilities, see what they're all about, and we get to see a transformation of a soldier, which again was teased in the trailer, into a Parademon. So apparently the Parademons are fall are soldiers that they get infected and they just turn into these beings. Really, really cool. Admittedly, I don't know a lot about the DC universe, so this was a really good entry into the larger universe, because I mean really we've been focused so far, other than Batman v Superman, which tried to do it but I think failed. I think everybody can admit that it failed on that account, of trying to open up the world. This one really does it in a more organic way, not just in the intro to the different team members, but in the way it presents the history of the mother boxes and so on. Really, like I said, other than that spoiler of the Green Lantern being in the movie, and again, not the Green Lantern that joins the team, just that they exist in this universe, they're there in the movie. Other than that, the only other spoilers we can talk about, which I really, well, okay, big spoiler in the movie, Superman is back, yay, and he is funny. He is the Superman that we've been waiting for, and all the interviews leading up to the movie had said that this is his rebirth, is really into the Superman that we know and love, and everything I saw in the movie indicated just that. This is a Superman that is hopeful. This is a Superman that loves what he does, is having a good time, and is not just, I'm here saving the world because I've been told I can't smile, and so I'm not going to smile. This isn't that Superman. This is a Superman that is hopeful, that loves what he does, loves being on the team, and I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. Although at the beginning, when the rebirth happens and he starts to fight everybody, I'm like, not this again. But it was really well done. I really, really enjoyed it. Other than that, the post-credit scenes. Let's talk about them. The first post-credit scene is kind of a throwaway, meaning it's not really a building of the universe like post-credit scenes tend to be. But for those of you that love the comics, you know that there's always a rivalry between Flash and Superman, who's the fastest. And they are trying to settle the score, and it's really, really fun. Again, they go out of their way to make this Superman fun. Not funny, because he's not a quippy superhero like a lot of the Marvel superheroes are, and even the Flash is, but he is fun. He has fun with what he's doing, and he's enjoying what he's doing. So it was a really, really good idea, especially after Batman v Superman, where all we got was the brooding Superman. Other than that, this is the big one. This is the big matzo ball of spoilers. And it's the second one at the end of the trailers. The arrival of one of DC's greatest villains, Deathstroke. Deathstroke is he's in Batman. You know him if you watched Arrow. He's in Arrow, and he is a very formidable fighter. That, especially when it comes to Batman, I'm really looking forward to seeing what they do with both of them. If you've played any of the Arkham games, he is most notably in Arkham Origins, and he has a great fight that a lot of people have even broken down to see the moves, and he's really, really pivotal in the DCEU. And we also see in that same scene the return of Lex Luthor, who now that God has reawakened, he also has come out. He's escaped prison somehow, and he is back to form what I can only assume is some version of the Injustice League or something close to that, because he said, why not? Why don't we have a league of our own? So I can only assume what is going to happen in the future, but this is a really, really good sign of what is going to come, hopefully, from the DC EU, or whatever they're calling it now. So, let's close out this video, shall we? I really hope you enjoyed the review. I really want to know what you thought. I'm trying to do a lot of things, especially with the HD, and just other things to make it more interactive. I want you guys to really enjoy these videos and not just be me talking to you, which I'm hoping this video went a long way into accomplishing that. But, without any further ado, let's close this shindig, shall we? This has been MovieCriticRob. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share. But now, as always, I'm signing off.